Another day, another Seahawks starter moves on out the door. Just coming on the heels of the surprising release of Tyrel Dodson earlier this week, your starting inside linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks, comes the news today that the starting center for your Hawks, Connor Williams, is going to pull a Vontae Davis, but instead of retiring mid-game, he's going to retire mid-season. He is going to hang him up, head on out to pasture, and this leaves the Seahawks in an awkward position as just as they were on the heels of about to add Abraham Lucas back to the offensive line and seemingly put that unit in its best possible state of the season as they were heading into their game against their rival. Instead, one step forward, one step back, it would seem, as you are going to lose Williams now for the year, which means it's going to be Olu Oluwatimi time. Connor was signed here at the end of training camp to be a guy who could be an improvement over Olu Oluwatimi. The former fifth-round pick out of Michigan was not quite holding the line for the Hawks throughout this offseason, so they looked to Connor to be an improvement for them at the last minute just before the start of the year. It looked like a great value-based signing as you signed him for about $3 million with some incentives in there. And certainly with what Connor gave you on the field, he gave you the bang for buck. He was right around kind of middle of the road for centers in the National Football League, ranked 18th by PFF, and that does kind of match to what you saw from him on the eye test. He wasn't out there dominating by any measure. He wasn't even at what we've seen as far as his vintage self goes, but he was much better than what we've seen from the position from some of the likes of guys like Austin Blythe and Evan Brown in recent years, who have been more in kind of the 30s range as far as their ranking goes. So it was at least an improvement of what they've got in prior years. But now, all eyes turned to Olu Oluwatimi, a guy that was supposed to be a pretty ready-made player when you drafted him, meaning that he was going to be pretty much to where he was going to be as a pro. You weren't going to get a lot of ceiling, but you'd get some high floor, and he should be ready to go kind of immediately. But we kind of found that that was not the case, and McDonald has said he's kind of struggled to find how he can become that starter in this league and take that next step forward. But we're hearing he's made some progress. Hopefully he can fill in now, and if he could go and take this job, it would certainly help for as we go into the rest of this offseason with a couple of other offensive line positions we might have to take a look at. But this is a surprise. This is another indication here of us being in a year here where this thing is in full turnover mode. We still have some hopes here for this year, but we've got to look at this with sober eyes and understand that they're still kind of feeling out who's going to be part of this puzzle as we go forward and who is just merely part of this team for the year. So a shocker, a surprise. Did not see this one coming from any angle on it, and certainly this is going to make the Hawks a little bit weaker in the interim. But I don't know if they saw enough from Connor necessarily to think that he was also going to be a long-term part of this team, even if he stayed at his current performative level throughout this season. We'll see how it goes this week with Olu Oluwatimi. Hopefully he's ready to go. My name is Brandon Kane. This is the Hawks Nest. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. But beyond all that, don't you ever forget. Go Hawks.